I've opened up my heart. I'm at the start. I save the world. I save the
Well, I
world.
appreciate the opportunity.
I
It's always
save the
good to
world.
practice
I save
forgiveness,
the world.
and preparing for a sermon is always about that. It's about letting ourselves go and moving in faith. So, as soon as you asked me for the date, God gave me an immediate idea. He said, let me be the orchestra leader. I come from a family of musicians, artists, chemists, engineers, a very interesting right brain, left brain combination. And so I grew up playing the violin. I played classical violin in the Junior Symphony Orchestra in Boston. And we used to practice in little pods. So I met up with people from Roxbury and Dorchester. I was from Brighton, and our little group would play. And all around the city, people would do that. So maybe Brookline, maybe Newton and Woburn, and they would practice together. And we would play the same music, but we wouldn't see each other and we wouldn't play each other until we got invited to Symphony Hall. And then they'd put us all together. We'd have about an hour to rehearse and we would play. And to me, it was magical because I thought, I don't even know these people. I've only sat down with three or four people the entire year, practicing every week. And yet somehow it all came together. So when I think about the Course in Miracles, when I came to it some 20 years ago, that I was still playing my violin. I haven't played recently, but I remember the magic of it, of trusting that it was all going to be okay. I was just called to choose my instrument. That was it. And the violin fell in my lap because it belonged to my uncle, and it went through the whole family. Everybody played it. My dad played the accordion. He played the clarinet. My mother played the mandolin. And my brothers picked up the violin. And it was kind of interesting to carry that as a metaphor, to be able to read music, to um, to the instrument actually was not even my choice. The instrument fell in my lap, much like the course fell in my lap. When the student is ready, right, the teacher will appear. And I learned to play, and that's really all God expects of us. He will drop it in our lap. We learn to play, we experience the music, but imagine if it was under God's control completely. God wrote the music. We simply watch for his signals as if he's the great conductor. And he stands there. He's like, okay, ready. And we accept his guidance. So what happens when we're under God's complete control? It feels like, to me, I was teaching hypnosis. It felt like a spell. When I first learned of the course and I took the deep dive, it was back in 2004. And I was called to chair Relay for Life, which was a mega event of our entire area in Connecticut. And it was so big, I was like, oh God, I'm in trouble. And I remember at the time asking God for help. And boy, did he deposit the help in my lap. And I'll never forget that feeling when angels appeared at our event. The Archangel Michael appeared in a full dress, wings that came out like this, real feathers, and they were walking around the track. And I looked at him and I was like, where did you come from? He quietly said, I was sent. And it became a theme. And then a Reiki practitioner came and we were doing some Reiki and massage during the event. And I said, where did you come from? And she said, I was sent by the angels, the seven angels of the realm. And throughout the weekend, these wonderful serendipitous moments we were sent, we were called, and it's because we began to acquiesce to the great orchestra leader. Open our heart and ask specifically, I need help right now. And fast forward 20 years, I embarked on a historic mural fest, and it's big. I have to raise $250,000. I have to put together a team of 25 people and welcome 200 artists to our little town of 9,500 people. And I went right back to that feeling that I had when I first came to the course. And I said, "Oh, great orchestra leader, I need your help with this." And slowly but surely, every single person that had touched me began to appear in my life. I'd run into them at the coffee shop. They'd reach out to me randomly on Facebook and message me and say things like, "So, what's going on right now?" Like they were hearing it. They were hearing that message go out. It was a call for help that was being responded to by everybody who was ever touched. And my job was simply to watch for the signals, listen very carefully, and to connect with my holy companions once again. And a lot of them were practitioners. They were either teachers or holistic practitioners. They did body work, they did Reiki work. They were part of my original Course in Miracles group. They were part of Relay, that time that was so magical for us because we learned so many lessons. I came to realize that I cannot think on my own. I need the great orchestrator. Because thinking on my own is what? It's nothing. It's thinking no thoughts at all. Lesson 39 says clouds of complexity. It's what we made is these clouds of complexity in which you think. And we're not thinking at all because we haven't allowed the great orchestrator to completely guide us in every way, shape, or form. Thinking on our own is not only unnecessary, but literally impossible. So I give my will, align it with your will, God. I give you my thoughts today. Our lesson 233, I would have none of mine. In place of my thoughts, God, give me your own. As a matter of fact, not only do I give you my thoughts, in lesson 233, I give you all my acts. The act of making lists, the act of making phone calls, the act of worrying about it. How are we going to raise money? How am I going to get 200 artists into this town and house them and feed them? How am I going to do that? I could spin my wheels all day long worrying about my unattainable goals, setting them on paper, making lists. How many make lists? I make lists all the time. And then I put a box and I check it off. And I'm so proud of myself. I got my taxes ready. I get my grocery shopping ready. And I feel so accomplished. And God says, I'm sorry. Uh, these are unattainable goals and they're completely will be unsuccessful unless you hand it over to me. So today, God, I come to you. I step back and merely follow. You, the guide, me, the follower. And he goes on to say, question nothing I give you. When I deposit your friend Sue back in your lap, don't question it, just go with it. Don't question my love. Don't question my guidance. All my gifts, I've given you everything you need. And in the end, have no reservation whatsoever. Not one moment. Don't hesitate. Don't doubt. There's nothing ambiguous about my direction. And I begin to see a pattern throughout my life. And 20 years may seem like such a long time. But to God, it's an instant. It's like it could have been yesterday that He orchestrated the most amazing relay for life, where blessings dropped from the sky, rainbows appeared. I'd be up on the podium and my phone would ring, and it was my sister who had been going through cancer. And I'm like, Vicki, I'm in the middle of the welcome. I can't talk to you right now. But I have to tell you, we just drew the mega prize raffle, and it was a air blanket, and it was for her. She won it. And in the moment where she won it, she called me, and she didn't even know. And I just burst out crying right there. I was like, it was such a blessed time that I will never forget that moment of confirmation. God said, "You've done well, my child." And all I did was listen. All I did was follow His guidance. And He dropped it one after the other after the other. So, what happens when I accept God's guidance without reservation? It becomes God's day. And in this day, countless blessings and mercies will come down unto me and you. It will rain like hearts from the sky, fully supported, fully loved, completely blessed. And then all things are possible, even the impossible. So apply this lesson to every day, every situation, every meal, every encounter, every phone call, every speech. Surrender your own mission, your own objectives. Surrender those lists, the vision. Everything can be given to Him who knows you, who sees everything. He sees the big picture. I can't see out there. My hand can't reach out there, but His can. And the blessings will continue to rain upon you. And the impossible will be possible. My sponsor chair called me the other day. The two of them hit my marketing chair and my sponsor chair for my old Relay for Life connections. I pulled them on board knowing that union was so important. And they did a presentation, and they called me right after the presentation from the car, crying their eyeballs out. And I said, "So how did you do with Joe and the business Line Master Switch, his sons?" And they said, "Yeah, we did pretty good. We did pretty good. The sky opened up, the hearts rained down from the universe, and they sponsored us for $40,000. I dropped. I felt like the Archangel Michael was coming by my side. I dropped to my knee, and I cried, and I cried with them. And I said, "This is the grace. These are the blessings. When you go in with no expectation and you simply ask for what you need, it will be rained upon you in such a way that you will know that can only come from God. That cannot come from me. It cannot come from the tremendous presentation or even the relationships between you and the Godfather, Joe Calone." But these are moments when our dedication is finally confirmed. Our vigilance has been rewarded in a way from the one who knows you and sees everything. Amen.
up our world, you and me. I've opened up my heart, I'm at the start. I save the world, I save the world, I save the world, I save the world.